Hello and welcome to Books of Blood. My name is John and I've got a book haul. It seems like it has been so long since I've actually been able to say that. I know I've done these little book hauls with about 4 or 5 books at a time. I've done the ebook hauls, but it's been so long since I've actually been able to do an actual decent sized book haul. As you know, I've told you guys before that the only used bookstore that we had here in Bakersfield, because of the pandemic, it closed its doors. I am happy to say that they are finally reopened, so I do have some books from there. I've got books from Barnes & Noble. I've got books that were mailed to me by authors, by some authors. So yeah, I've got a pretty decent haul here. So tell you what, let's go ahead and get underway. Let's go ahead and see. I don't have these in any particular order or any particular stack, but let's go ahead and see. This is one that I got from Bookhounds. It's one of them. It's Dark Gods, and this is by T.E.D. Klein. And as far as I know, aside from this and his novel, The Ceremonies, I'm not sure if the guy has produced any other books, and The Ceremonies was written or published back in the 1970s, 1980s, I believe. I'm not sure when it was published. Let's see here. Well, it doesn't really have a description. Anyway, what Dark Gods is, it is a book of 4 novellas by T.E.D. Klein. You have Children of the Kingdom, T.E.D., Black Man with a Horn, and Nadelman's God. And these are all, I believe, these are all kind of cosmic horror. I've never read any T.E.D. Klein. I've always heard about The Ceremonies. I used to see the book all the time when I was growing up, but that's all I really know. All right, let's see if there's anything on here. Let's see, we'll give it a little description here. Children of the Kingdom, amid the grim and grimy realities of urban life, horrors lie hidden in the shadows of the city. T.E.D. At their housewarming party, George and Phyllis think their new Connecticut retreat is quite a steal, unaware of the true price they will soon have to pay. Black Man with a Horn. A chance encounter over the Atlantic lures a traveler into a web of ancient mystery and fiendish retribution. And finally, Nadelman's God. The savvy button-down Nadelman comes to the slow and horrifying realization that the demons of our imagination are not always imaginary. And that is Dark Gods, and that is by T.E.D. Klein. I apologize for the glare. Let's try to get it right there. How's that? Okay. Okay, all right. Next up, what have I got? Here we go. Here's one. Now, this is one that I read back a long time ago. I read the hardcover of it, and I haven't seen it in a long time. Finally saw a paperback of it, and this is Golgotha Falls, and this is by Frank DiFalita. And of course, he's also the author of Audrey Rose, which of course was made into a movie back in the 1970s. In the holy church, the foul stench of the devil's lust rises. At Golgotha Falls, the first priest was found in the pulpit, preaching to grinning rows of mangled, violated corpses. The second priest died in a gasping shudder of bestial delight, in the screaming ecstasy only the damned can know. The serpent has fed. Now his power lures Father Malcolm, a saintly priest, and 2 scientists into the spreading stain of evil. 2 men and a woman, devoured by unholy lust of festering desire, pawns in the supreme confrontation between God's force and the never-ending horror of Satan's final assault at Golgotha Falls. And that is Golgotha Falls by Frank DiFalita. Okay. Alright, what do we got here next? Next up, we've got from Bentley Little. Now, I might have talked about this book already. It feels familiar to me. I might have talked about it already. But this is The House by Bentley Little. And the next book's going to be by Bentley Little also. And I do believe I've talked about these already. Between heaven and hell stands only one thing, the house. 5 strangers are about to discover that they share a dark bond, a haunted childhood, a shocking secret, a memory of the houses they lived in, each one eerily identical to the next. From the remote foothills of the West to the green lawns of sunny suburbia, they are returning to the past, to the unspeakable events they long to forget, to the house. And their journeys are about to converge in one terrifying challenge to confront their nightmares or be trapped inside them forever. And that is The House. And that's another one I got at Bookhounds. The first two I mentioned are just read to, or I talked about, I also got from there as well. Okay, next up, another one by Bentley Little, and that is This is Dominion. Okay. Old friends, new terrors. Dion Semel is a teenager trying to make friends in a new school and meet the girl of his dreams. But something is happening deep inside him. A powerful force is struggling to escape. His sleep is disturbed by dreams of a past world that seeks to control him. Penelope let me see that name there. Penelope Danium is smart and pretty and trying to be normal despite her unusual family. Since birth, she had been cared for by a sisterhood of women who own a local Napa winery. It is here that Dion and Penelope will meet their true fate, not as lovers, but as catalysts for a reign of incredible terror. A new dominion has risen. And that is Dominion by Bentley Little. All right. Okay, I just got this one recently at Barnes & Noble. In fact, a lot of these came from Barnes & Noble. I have heard so many things about this book. It's listed in so many best of top 100 horror and things that as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I have got to have this book. I want to read this book. And this is The Case Against Satan, and this is by Ray Russell. Before The Exorcist and Rosemary's Baby, there was the case against Satan. By the 20th century, the exorcism had all but vanished, wiped out by modern science and psychology. But Ray Russell had I'm a little tongue-tied today, I'm sorry. But Ray Russell resurrected the ritual with his classic 1962 horror novel, giving new rise to the exorcism on page, on screen, and even in real life. Teenager Susan Garth was a clean-talking, sweet little girl before she started acting strangely, a sudden aversion to churches, and a newfound fondness for vulgarity. Then one night she strips in front of the parish priest and sinks her nails into his throat. If not madness, the answer must be demonic possession. To vanquish the devil, Bishop Crimmings recruits a younger priest with a taste for modern ideas and brandy. As the two men fight the darkness tormenting Susan, their struggle turns them against each other, and all the while a soul-chilling revelation lurks in the shadows, one which knows that the darkest evil goes by many names. And that is The Case Against Satan. Okay. Next up from Ronald Malfi, we've got a ghost story, and this is Little Girls. All right. After years away, Laurie returns to the home where she was raised by a cold, distant father who recently exorcised his demons. But no amount of cleaning can wipe away the troubled past. She feels it lurking in the broken moldings, sees it staring from an empty picture frame, hears it laughing in the moldy greenhouse deep in the woods. At first, Laurie thinks she's imagining things, but when she meets her daughter's new playmate, she notices her uncanny resemblance to another little girl who used to live next door, who died next door. With each passing day, Laurie's uneasiness grows stronger, her thoughts more disturbing. Like her father, is she slowly losing her mind, or is something truly unspeakable happening? And that is Little Girls, and that is by Ronald Malfi. Okay. Next up, we've got a trilogy from Jonathan Mayberry. This is my first time owning these books in paperback, and I will admit I started reading the first one and I could not, or I did not finish it. I'm not sure why. It just might have been that I wasn't ready for it, or it wasn't ready for me at the time. But this is called the Pine Deep Trilogy, and the first one is Ghost Road Blues. And I'm only going to read the synopsis for Ghost Road in case you haven't read the other books. I don't want to spoil anything. 30 years ago, a blues musician called the Bone Man killed the devil at the crossroads, only to be beaten and hung like a scarecrow in a cornfield, or so the story goes. Today, the people of Pine Deep celebrate their town's grisly past by luring tourists to the famous haunted hayride, full of chills and scares. But this year, the spookiest town in America will learn the true meaning of fear. Its residents will see the real face of evil lurking behind the masks of ordinary people. They will feel it in their hearts, in their bones, in their nightmares, because evil never dies. It only grows stronger. And that is book 1 in the Pine Deep trilogy, and that is Ghost Road Blues. Book 2 is going to be Dead Man's Song. All right. And finally, book 3 is Bad Moon Rising. Okay. And these are some chunky books too, so it's going to be a while. If I do read this, it's going to be a while. All right. Next up, we have from Michael McDowell, we have got The Amulet, and this was his debut novel. And I believe I talked about this in my Horror Across America tour of Alabama. When a rifle range accident leaves Dean Howell disfigured and in a vegetative state, his wife Sarah finds her dreary life in Pinecone, Alabama made even worse. After long and tedious days on the assembly line, she returns home to care for her corpse-like husband while enduring her loathsome and hateful mother-in-law, Joe. Joe blames the entire town for her son's mishap, and when she gives a strange piece of jewelry to the man she believes most responsible, a series of gruesome deaths is set in motion. Sarah thinks the amulet has something to do with the rising body count, but no one will listen to her. As the inexplicable murders continue, Sarah and her friend Becca Blair have no choice but to track down the amulet themselves before it's too late. That is The Amulet, and that is by Michael McDowell. Okay. All right, now I just got these 2 in the mail today, actually. Today being the day that I'm filming this video, not the day that this video is actually posting, so you do the math, because it boggles my mind. I don't know. Anyway, first of all, from Brian Bowyer, we have Flesh Rehearsal. Let me get that in real close. That is a creepy cover. Real creepy cover. He told me who the artist was too. I talked with Brian, and he offered to send these to me, and I'm like, great, you know. Let's see, who is the author? The artist. Oh man, I do not know. He told me who it was, and I can't remember. I know their last name is Noble. I just cannot think of the first name. So anyway. Following years of abuse, Gretchen runs away from home after her sister dies by suicide. While on the road, she accepts a ride from Jacob and Amelia Sloan, who are driving back to Los Angeles from Chicago. Gretchen knows their dead father was the lead singer in a famous band. After hearing Gretchen sing, they convince her to be the vocalist in the rock band and live with them in Los Angeles, where Gretchen meets and falls in love with the girl of her dreams. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the city, a predator lurks. The lobotomizer, a serial killer terrorizing Los Angeles, plots an attack that threatens to ruin Gretchen's happiness. Can she and her friends find and stop the killer before the unthinkable happens? Fans of Clive Barker, Stephen King, and Poppy Z. Bright will love this chilling novel. And that is Flesh Rehearsal by Brian Bowyer. Or Bowyer. Bowyer. It's like David Bowie all over again. So I remember so many people when David Bowie was popular, you hear some people go, David Bowie. Then they say David Bowie. Then they say David Bowie. It's actually David Bowie. Anyway. Next up from Brian Bowyer, we have Apocalypse. Moving closer here. A biotech company develops a phone that's implanted in human flesh. After SkinTech releases the Dermaphone 2, half the people on Earth who get the upgrade become homicidal maniacs. The world descends into chaos. There is murder on the streets in every city, and no one trusts anyone anymore. Even the people who don't become homicidal are viewed as either potential mass murderers or unidentified serial killers by everyone else. When survivors take refuge at a compound in Lake Tahoe, they encounter something worse than the dermaphone maniacs running amok in the outside world. And that is Apocalypse by Brian Bowyer. All right. Okay, next up. Now, this one was mailed to me by Daniel J. Volpe. This is his latest novel. I don't know if it's out yet. I hope I'm not getting in any trouble for showing it off too soon. I don't think I am. I think he would be okay with it. But this is called Left to You. And if you don't know, Daniel Volpe is the author of Billy Silver, A Gift of Death, and my favorite, Talia. All right. What would you do to save a loved one? Robert's mother, Helen, is ravaged with cancer. Every day could be her last, and Robert dreads losing the last member of his family. Robert's friend and Holocaust survivor, Joseph, tells him an unholy story and leads him away to save his dying mother. But as with everything else, the salvation comes with a steep price. Will Robert accept what's left to him and save his mother? Or will the cost be too high, weighing Robert's soul down to the depths of hell? And I looked at this today, opened it up, and Daniel was nice enough to sign this. He's got a signature right down here. And it says, to John, a.k.a. Books of Blood, what would you do to save a loved one? Right. And that is Left to You by Daniel Volpe. Okay, next up, I have got some graphic novels. The first one is from the Lock and Key universe by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez, and this is Lock and Key Small World. And I've already read this one. I liked it. All right, I'm not sure if it was my favorite among the Lock and Key stories because that's a pretty long storyline. But I know it's probably not my favorite. I did enjoy it. I love the illustrations. The artwork is absolutely fantastic in this. Let me see if I can find something really, really nice one here. Real nice piece of artwork. Oh yeah, here's one. Because this takes place inside a dollhouse. Because one of the keys opens up, or it works this dollhouse, and the people on the outside looking in the dollhouse are also the characters inside the dollhouse, and this giant spider, well, giant to them, gets loose. So let me find a really good photo here of this spider, man. He's nasty looking. Pretty grotesque. I think I just showed you a picture there, didn't I? I'm sure I did. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? It's kind of a short story, too, so... I don't want to give too much away. Yeah, here you go. Here's a shot of the spider about to attack the little girl. Nasty looking thing. Nasty looking spider. Anyway, that is Lock and Key and Small World by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. Okay. And here is a graphic novel adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's The Call of Cthulhu. And it also has Dagon. They're both graphic novel adaptations. And I love the way this thing is bound because it, you got the regular cover, but then there's like a hardcover here. And it goes through. It's sewn through. You see this? Isn't that pretty awesome? Alright, let's see, H.P. Lovecraft's The Call of Cthulhu and Dagon, a graphic novel. There is a cult that will never die, its members hidden in dark places all over the world. They wait until their great priest rises again. When the stars are right, Cthulhu will call and bring the earth under his sway. In this vibrant retelling of H.P. Lovecraft's most iconic short story, Dave Shepard's stunning full-color art enriches every scene. Lovecraft's seminal tale is accompanied by his early short story, Dagon. Alright. And of course, here's some illustrations on the covers. There's Cthulhu himself. Not sure who this guy. I can't remember what the guy's name is. I'm pretty sure he's the protagonist or storyteller. Because I believe, if I remember right, it was told in like first person. It's been a while since I've read the Call of Cthulhu. And we also have Batman Damned, and this is by Brian Azzarello, and the artwork is by Lee Bermejo. And this is one of the DC Black Label stories. So it's got a little more of a gritty, a little more mature, a little more horrific style to it, so to speak. The Joker is dead. There's no doubt about that. But whether Batman finally snapped his scrawny neck or some other sinister force in Gotham City did the deed is still a mystery. Problem is, Batman can't remember, and the more he digs into this labyrinthine case, the more he starts to doubt everything he's uncovering. So who better to set him straight than John Constantine? The problem with that is, as much as John loves a good mystery, he loves messing with people's heads even more. So with John's help, the pair will delve into the sordid underbelly of Gotham as they race toward the mind-blowing truth of who murdered the Joker. And this features other characters in the Batman mythos. Let me see if I can find one here. Find some artwork. And also the Batman, the costume in this, I like because it's different from what you normally see Batman wearing, the more smooth, more sleek outfit. This looks like something you would see more if Batman were a real-life character and what he would design, all right? So, yeah, you can see how you see what I'm talking about? Okay. Then there's, of course, let me see some of the people featured in this. There's Zatanna. She's featured in it. Harley Quinn is in this. The Joker is, of course, in it. The demon Etrigan is in it. And I love the way they did it with him. I read this already. It's really good. With Etrigan, because Etrigan is Jason Blood. And the demon Etrigan speaks in rhyme. And in this, to update it, he's like a spoken word or rap artist who speaks in street or urban language, so to speak. All right. And anyway, that is Batman. That is Damned. Okay. And finally, I saw this the other day at Barnes & Noble. It was really cheap. And this is called 50 States. 50 States. 50 States. And 500 Scary Places to Visit. And it goes state by state. And some have a whole lot more than others, and some have just a few. And it shows you on the map where these places are located and things. You got California here. Got like got 2 pages worth of California. Let's see, my hometown, or my home state, or whatever, is South Carolina. I think it's only got 1 page for South Carolina. Let me look and see here. I may be wrong. Yeah. Let's see, in South Carolina we got the Battery Carriage House Inn in Charleston. We got the Stony Barnyard Ruins in Hilton Head Island. Old Charleston Jail in Charleston. A lot of this stuff takes place in South Carolina, in Charleston. Some take place in Greenville, which is the sister city to the city that's right beside us. I'm from Spartanburg, South Carolina. So yeah, what do you think for Spartanburg? I guess Spartanburg doesn't get any ghost. And I'm not sure if Bakersfield has any ghosts listed in this. Although we've got the Padre Hotel here, and that's supposed to be haunted, but that's not included here. I don't know why. Anyway, that is 50 states, 500 scary places to visit. And that is my book haul. I'm not sure when I'm going to post this, because I got stuff posting tomorrow. I got stuff posting on Friday, so this may go out on Thursday, or I may post it on Saturday, but Saturday's Christmas, so maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, until then, take care and stay scared. Bye-bye.